Hello and welcome to C-Section Savvy. I'm Naomi and this is session 2, Healed When. In this session, we will look at how long it takes for all those 6 layers to be healed and what is the most common mistake that C-section mamas make in their recovery and how you can avoid it. Here's a question for you. How long does it take for a woman's incisions, all 6 layers, to be fully healed post C-section? Have a look at the answers, have a guess, see how we go. The answer is 6 to 8 weeks for all of the incisions to be healed. Healed does not mean strong. Just like if you broke your leg and you got put it in a cast for 6 weeks, when you took the cast off, is it healed? Yes. Is it strong? No. Could you run on it? Could you do box jumps? No. But does that mean never? No, it just means not just yet. It still needs rehab work to build the strength back up. It's just like our body with a C-section. Now the body is an incredible healing machine, especially when we give it what it needs. Now when we cut our skin, the body forms scar tissue. It's a natural response to trauma. All scars go through a process of change and maturity which can last over a year. Now understanding these phases can be really empowering so you can make wiser choices if you find yourself having a C-section. Now the first stage is the initial scar. That's the skin layer. It happens during the first 10 to 14 days. Now the body very quickly lays down disorganized collagen fibers, which is the body's glue, to close the wound. The first 14 days is pivotal to a C-section recovery. The wound is very vulnerable at this stage and extra care and attention is definitely needed. Now too much pressure on the incision during this time forces the body to work harder, producing more and more glue, more and more collagen fibers that tries to help it to heal the wound, and this can actually lead to complications. But without complications, the skin layer will be healed in 10 to 14 days. But remember, there's 5 more layers. As we have already established that it takes 6 to 8 weeks for all of those layers to be healed, but healed does not mean strong. Keep that ringing in your ears. Now the collagen fibers that were laid during this time results in thickened, tight, fibrous tissue, unorganized collagen fibers. In other words, imagine not brushing your hair for weeks on end. Imagine the mess, the tangle, the matted bird's nest. Well, just like that, for a C-section scar, if left untreated, this can interfere with proper blood circulation, it can impact the way you move and cause pain and adhesions. And though your abdominal wall is healed, it isn't yet strong enough for intensity. Research has shown that the linea alba only has 50% strength by 6 weeks post C-section. Now its job is to stabilize and manage the contractions of the core muscles around it. And when it can't do its job, the body is vulnerable for injury. Now our core muscles are in need of rehabilitation even at 6 to 8 weeks post C-section. This will make a huge difference in reducing pain, in reducing the chance of injury, and for helping your body move better. Now the third phase is when your body begins the process of scar remodeling. This phase is vitally important because it's when the body reorganizes that bird's nest of collagen fibers that have already been laid, and it increases the strength between the bonds, or in other words, the ability for the tissue to handle stress. Think of a piece of gum that you're chewing and you pull it out and you stretch it, and as you stretch it, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner and more vulnerable. Now, when you increase the tensile strength, it's like adding more gum in your mouth first, and then when you stretch it out, they're able to handle far more load or far more stress that you're putting on it. We want our scars to be able to handle all the thrills of life, whatever exercise, movements, adventures that we want to go on. We want our bodies to handle it well, right? We don't want to be limited in any way. This phase starts around 3 weeks after a C-section and it can continue up to 2 years. There is a peak in the 3 to 6 month zone. This is what we call the golden window. This is the most influential time that makes the biggest impact on the way your scar heals. This is where scar massage is vital to helping the remodeling phase to be so effective. Scar massage and rehab exercise can help to reorganize the collagen fibers, directing them where to go, improving its function, the movement, reducing chance of adhesions, causing the scar to be more softer and more flexible and strong. If you're outside the golden window, don't worry, scar massage can still make a great impact, even a year or even decades later, and we can learn more about that in coming sessions. What is the most common mistake that C-section mamas make during their recovery? I'll give you a hint, we've kind of already touched on it. It's when mamas do too much too soon. In other words, they do more than what their body is able to handle at that time. The greater the pressure on the incision, the harder the body has to work to heal the incision. Remember the glue. The more the pressure on the incision, the more glue, the more collagen fibers has to be pumped into that site to be healed. It can actually lead to complications such as incisions reopening, infection, increase in pain, discomfort, excessive scar tissue adhesion, even painful sex. It's really not worth it. So if you find yourself having a C-section, please first do not judge the rate of your healing by the outward skin layer alone. Remember, it only takes 10 to 14 days for this layer to heal. There's still 6 more weeks before all of the layers are ready. Now, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Vacuuming, dishes, running, lifting, weights, etc. I put a post on social media not that long ago about this thought. My heart goes out to all of the women who had to suck it up or do things that their bodies weren't ready for. Many of them had no idea of the impact it would have on their bodies. You know, there was a very small minority of women that said, oh no problem, I could do whatever I want, it had no trouble, you know, it was fine. But for many women, they were sharing, as you can see here, how they had to do more than their bodies were ready for, and that they had to pay consequences of having more pain, having infection, reopening of their incisions, having slower recovery. And no, life doesn't stop when you have a C-section, but maybe this knowledge, you will be able to make a more informed choice when you're recovering and reducing the risk of complications by learning this important truth. But now let's check out the healing time frame. In other words, when you can get back to doing the things that you love to do. After having a cesarean, it is really important to learn how to safely return to normal daily tasks and exercise. We divide C-section healing time frame into 3 phases: healed, restored, and strong. Healed is the first 6 weeks. This is where rehabilitation can really accelerate your healing journey. We also highlight the first 10 days as critical healing. More about this in a moment. The next is restored. Now this is 6 to 12 weeks. Here is where the temptation can be to push yourself more than your body is ready for. We've learned in the first session that 6 weeks our body is healed, yes, but it's not strong enough yet. So there's more advanced rehab that is needed to take place. This is followed by strong. Now this is 12 weeks and beyond. This is where you get to have fun. This is exciting because the intensity increases because your body has now been prepared. It is strong, it is healthy, it is stable, it is capable of moving on. So that's why as Birthmark Sisterhood, we see it as essential as carefully journeying women through this rehabilitation process. I really want to highlight the first 10 days post C-section. This is known as the critical healing stage. Now, what you choose to do this time can either help or hinder your recovery in the most significant way. So please take it seriously if you end up having a C-section. During this phase, you are recovering from major abdominal surgery. You have a very vulnerable wound. There's intense pain that you need to manage. You've got restricted movement. You will need help from others. You will be adjusting to life with a newborn. And during this time, there will be the transition from hospital to home. Hospital, where you have plenty of help and care, to home, where it depends on your situation. Not everything in life goes to plan, not even the birth of our child. There are some potential risks of having a C-section, and here they are. There's anesthetic complications, potential heavy bleeding, blood clots, infection of your wound and infection of the womb lining. There is damage or numbness potentially to your nerves, trauma, excessive scar tissue and potential adhesions, as we've been learning, slower recovery time and return to exercise and sport, increased likelihood of complications in future pregnancies, and also chance of maternal death. As you can see, there are a very small chance, but with any type of surgery there is a chance. But here is some hope. Our bodies are the most incredible healing machines. Not only has your body grown a tiny human, the fact is, after having a C-section or vaginal birth, every day your body is continuing to heal itself. Each day you will move a bit easier. Each day you'll have a little bit less pain. Each day you'll be able to handle a little bit more than you did the day before. How amazing is that? But are you choosing to help or to hinder your postpartum journey? What will you choose? It's not always easy, don't get me wrong, I understand that, but you will have a choice. So let's do a quick recap of today's session before revealing the secret of the game changers. All 6 layers are healed within 6 to 8 weeks, but healed does not mean strong, that's right. And there's the real importance of scar remodeling phase. And again, this makes a massive difference to the way that your body will function in the future. Now, the most common mistake that C-section mamas make in their C-section recovery is that they do too much too soon. And this can lead to complications, which isn't great. So the key is just because you can doesn't mean you should. We covered the healing time frame, the essential 3 phases that we've broken down to help you understand what you should do at each stage of your recovery. And finally, our bodies are incredible healing machines, but we get to choose if we're going to help or hinder the process. Now for some great news. In our next session, I will be sharing with you 6 vital things that you can do that will reduce pain, help you move better and feel better. These are what I call my game changers. Now I will be sharing what you can also do to enhance your C-section before you give birth. And I will give you the best tips for a speedy recovery, because every woman deserves to have people in her corner that are cheering her on and helping her to have the best postpartum journey that she can. And that's why I created the Birthmark Sisterhood, because I didn't want any other woman to be feeling alone, lost, feeling confused, feeling frustrated when they're walking their C-section journey like I did. You deserve better.